What it is, y'all. It's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back with another Danmachi episode review. Today, we have episode 5 of Season 4. Literally, well, I say just. It went live yesterday. For various reasons, I didn't get a chance to get to it on Thursdays. Thursdays are a really rugged day for me. But let's just get into it, guys. This episode, holy crap. Probably one of the best of the season so far. We've had 5 episodes of the 11 that we're going to get in part 1, part 2. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but part 2 has been heavily, leaked, alluded to, whatever. Anyway, nevertheless, episode 5, holy crap, solid 9 out of the gate. That's my numerical score, a solid, absolute 9. And if nothing else, for this scene behind me right here. By the way, guys, if you have not watched this episode, spoilers. We're going to just talk about nothing but spoilers if you haven't watched the episode. So if you haven't, make sure you pause the video, go back and watch it, and let's just absolutely get into it. So, if you remember the end of the last episode, we ended off, Haruhime was doing her level boost. We find out there's so much more to this, because the Grimlore, the book that Aisha gave Haruhime back at the beginning of the series, we knew it was going to be a new magical spell. Well, actually, it's like a piggyback spell, so to speak. Basically, she starts summoning the Nine-Tails Fox Demon, for those of you that watch Naruto. And more or less, she's only able to conjure up 5 of the 9 tails, which means now she can put level boost on 5 people simultaneously. So, and it's even mentioned, I think Lily, I don't remember who mentioned it, somebody even mentions it in the episode. It's like, basically, this is what the Ishtar Familia was after, but, like, better. It doesn't cost Haruhime her life. Definitely costs her stamina, as we see. But that is absolutely phenomenal. Oh my god. So I adore this so very, very much. So she gives Oka, it was Oka, Welf, Chigusa. No, I'm sorry, not Chigusa, because Chigusa's down for the count. Mikoto, Welf, Oka, who else gets it? Aisha, and I'm scanning through the episode right now. I'm drawing a blank on the 5th person. Anyway, you've got 5 people now with the level boost, and it is absolutely wild. And more or less, what winds up happening here is everybody's literally brought up to the next level, and they start fighting the monsters, and they're handling them. The problem is, in the background, you see the Moss Huge is just picking up stones and just munching on the stones. And it's kind of like, okay, this is bad. So he levels up. This pretty much was his whole, like, it's a win-win for him. Because it's like, if they die, I get the stones. If they win, then all these monsters are dead, and I get some stones. It's like, man, if only Irish farming in the game was that easy. So, nevertheless, he levels up. He gets even bigger. And, like, even has, like, this projectile mouth thing, which, by the way, the fight with him and Aisha, holy crap. He's now, and this shows you the disparity between Aisha and Belle at this point. Because Aisha is now being pushed back, and she is, like, unable pretty much to deal with the bulk of what's happening with the Moss Huge. Like, in fact, he grabs her at one point by the new projectile, like, alien mouth thing. Like, straight up xenomorph mouth, just on a tentacle. It's what it is. It's what it is. And, like, takes a chunk out of old girl's arm. Like, or her shoulder. Like, gets her right there and picks her up and is just brutalizing her. In fact, there's a scene where you see her grab her shoulder, and there's, like, pieces of shoulder missing. Like, it's not really, like, graphic, but you can definitely see, like, that's a ragged jagged edge of a human body. That ain't good. That is not generally how those are supposed to look. So they're just absolutely getting decimated. And, like, you know, you've got Cassandra, who does a big heal skill, and you've got Daphne was the other one that got the level boost. How could I forget Daphne? So Cassandra does this big magic spell, cast it over everybody, and they basically are, you know, all come back. The dwarves now see that they're getting overwhelmed because the dungeon, I've skipped that part. The dungeons literally start spawning more and more and more and more monsters. For every one they beat, it seems like 2 more show up. So the dwarves and the elves, all of them start getting in the fray, even though they're down for the count. and it's a big, big deal. And this is where the episode starts to get really, really weird. Because, or I say dark, really dark. Because you see Lily, she's like, we could run. Leave them to die and we could run. We've done it a million times before. Belle forgave me. And then she's like, nah, I couldn't do that to Belle. Belle would stay put. He wouldn't leave. And then she makes that decision. And that's when Haruhime hears down the hall. She's like, he's coming. And then it just kind of like zooms down the hall, and you hear the literal tolling of the Argonaut skill. And everyone's just like, get out of the way. Run. Move. Hide. And here comes Belle, just in the room, and one big firebolt. Like, everybody ducks in, like, basically... a rift is cut in the floor. Everybody ducks in the floor. Lily pulls that new the new cloak over top of everybody. Aisha like ducks back into a corner of the cave and covers herself, and just all hell just demolishes everything in the room, with the exception of the Moss Huge. He is badly damaged. Like, he's hurt. He is absolutely hurt. In fact, you do find out that he's stolen some healing items and magic stuff from some adventurers along the way, which we kind of could have presumed. So, the long and the short of it is, he's launched into another room, Belle launches that in another room, and an all-out assault starts going down. And you start finding out this is basically, Belle was not accustomed to his level. Like, he was not really fighting at the level he should have been fighting at. And it was the fight with the, I don't remember what they're called, it looks iguanas, but they're like the little flying hummingbird things of death. And with the fight with them, he basically had become more accustomed to his level, more accustomed to his speed and all that. And he just starts unleashing unholy hell on the Moss Huge. And Moss Huge can't keep up. It is like almost in the time that Belle is left and come back, it's like he's got a Zenkai boost. It's wild for those people that know what that is. It is absolutely phenomenal. And he just starts rocking the Marshy. Like, the whole fight is just on a whole other level at this point. Now, if I can't criticize here for a moment, I love this episode, but I've harped on about the animation before, and that's the one place where I think this episode did suffer a little bit. Now, we got a lot of the fight, but there were good portions of the fight where literally just, we've got still shots. It's still shots on motion. And while I think that would have been like part of the course back in the 90s or even early 2000s, in this day and age, we expect a little more. Personally, at least I do. I think that is a bygone era of anime that we should have long since forgotten about. Now, once again, I know they're producing tons and tons and tons of shows. But in that regard, I think animation-wise, we've got a solid high 7, low 8 on our hands as far as that number goes. Because when the action is on, it is phenomenal. Look at what's behind me. That scene, mind-blowing. But for about half of the Moss Huge fight, it's literally just people talking off in the distance, and you just hear the battle going on in the background. Or when it's like the all-out battle with the dwarves and all that, it's literally just still shots. And the other thing that kind of irks me is, like, once again, I'm going to go back in the day with anime, or with, mostly anime, when you get to a big boss fight like this, it would go from the 12 frames a second or less and, like, level up, and you would start getting more and more and more frames to make up those tweens that you're missing. And the one problem I have with JC is that they never seem to do that. It always stays at 12 frames a second. So some of these fights wind up looking jagged and kind of look... they don't look as well as they should look. So I'm going to lower it to a 7. I'm going to say that's the one place where I really just... I appreciate what they're doing, but I think the studio could do better on the animation all in. But as far as the storytelling goes and all that, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. So Belle just is absolutely decimating Moss Huge. He's just, nothing he can do can really touch him. And that's when you start getting, you see Belle put away the new knife. I can't remember the new knife's name. Pulls out the Hestia knife, and then he does a firebolt. But the firebolt turns into this big sphere and then just slowly condenses and goes into the blade. And it's when you get the shot of Wealth like, hey, you're not doing the thing that I warned you about, right? And basically, there's the way that the metal that the Hestia blade's made out of, it's able to basically deflect magic, but it doesn't hold magic. It just deflects it. And basically, by Bell doing this, it more or less brings the blade to life. It is insane. And he unleashes this absolutely just phenomenal one-shot and rocks the Moss Huge. And it is over with. It is done. And the name of the attack is Argo Vesta. Especially for those people that played the game last year, those people that were around for the 4th anniversary of the Memoria Freeze game, that name means so much more nowadays. But the Argonaut skill mixed with Hestia's skill, power, whatever, it's just insane. Just nutty. This episode was outstanding, y'all. Absolutely outstanding. Can't say enough good stuff. I could go on forever just yakking about how great this episode was. And yes, I know I gave it a lower score, and it was only for those faux pas in the animation. Once again, I really feel like they need to step up their game on the animation department, but I get they're stuck in a lot of old ways. It's very old habits in anime, and I think we as the fans deserve better. But that's just me being nitpicky. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Like, comment, share all the good stuff, and I will catch you guys next week for episode number 6, because there's something they skipped in the light novels that seems like we're going to get to. See you guys then.